So he says, but that's what I'm doing. Now, I filed that in the back of my mind. All right. And then a connection came up with another online course I'm taking on dystopian literature.
That's all people write now.
Yeah, and that includes movies and TV series. All right, there's a TV series out now called Black Mirror, and the writers of Black Mirror, I think they've either did 3 episodes or 6 episodes, but they're all so interesting that you say to yourself, I'm going to give them a pass. Take as much time as you need to write more, because you've got some either one good writer or a lot of good writers on this thing. But they did one of the episodes in the Black Mirror series is the present day, just like Salman Rushdie said you shouldn't do. Present day, one of the members of the royal family is kidnapped. And the kidnappers contact the prime minister. And they say to the prime minister, we have proof of life, and we'll be sending it to you today. And so they send him a finger that's been cut off, and they check the fingerprint, and that's her. They say, we plan to torture her to death unless one thing happens, and only one thing, in which case she'll be released unharmed. And that is, Mr. Prime Minister, you must go on YouTube, not national TV, but on YouTube, because they want the world to see this. You must have sex with a pig. End of transmission. So and then of course they say, we'll be back in touch with you to find out your answer. So now the prime minister is talking with all the advisors, and they're saying, this crime was so well done. We have no idea where the member of the royal family is, and and they're all at a loss as to how to proceed. Until finally someone says, is it really such a bad thing to have sex with a pig? And it's going to show, Prime Minister, that you really care about the members of the royal family. Well, this is what the whole episode is about. Should he or shouldn't he do it? Now, this is the brilliance of Black Mirror. It's showing us reality television. Because more and more people get interested in whether the prime minister is going to do it or not do it, until he finally says, I'll do it. All right? And then everybody is like, it's the main thing that's on all the news shows. Is he going to do this? And as a reader, you start, a viewer. As a viewer, you're thinking, this is not, you're of two minds. One mind says, oh, this is going to be good. If he has sex with a pig on YouTube, this is going to be good. But then another part of you is saying, he's going to humiliate himself. His career will be over. And should I really be looking forward to this? See, so that's the beauty of the series, sort of like what Salman Rushdie is talking about. It's making us reflect about our lives right now in the present.
So, wait, Salman said we shouldn't write about...
He said you should never write about the present. Going, and the story continues on into the future. Because if you're wrong, then your thunder is gone.
Okay. Don't write about the present.
So, for example,
suppose can you write about the present, period, without going into the future?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh, okay.
But suppose you're writing about Trump, and you're saying, and then he ran for his second term.
Okay.
And you start talking about that. But then in reality, he doesn't,
there's your sex with the pig mentioning Trump. No, seriously. We're watching Trump. We're having sex with a pig. Really. because we got sucked in to this screw up. We're watching where society and the news and everybody else is all treating him like he's normal. Like the president said this, he's a lunatic all the time, every second. He's a lunatic. We're having sex with the pig.
We're watching somebody have sex with a pig and enjoying it.
Yeah, I watch Rachel Maddow every freaking night to find out what's going on. Because you know what, I mean, yeah, I watch PBS. I watch the news hour sometimes and I look at it and stuff, but it's not as exciting as Rachel Maddow is, who's, but she's more dramatic. She's less objective, I suppose, but in a way she is. But, so, Sex with a Pig.
Yeah.
Edward Albee wrote The Goat, which is probably his best later of his plays. And the main character loves a goat and has sex with a goat, and you believe it. And he's got this passion for the goat.
You mean it's more than just physical? There's a bond created.
Oh,
with the
absolutely.
goat.
But sex is part of it, and nobody understands it. But Edward Albee is great about passion about things, especially weird stuff. Especially a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, you say, is it so bad? I suppose if you close your eyes, that's not.
Now, is there drama in your writing?
Yeah, you have to be entertaining. If you're going to put something on stage, and I have a couple of novels going on. If you're going to do anything, you have to be entertaining. That's it. So you got to make jokes. Yes, there has to be. There should be drama. You have to get people interested in what you're writing, I approach it. I approach it with irony, which unfortunately irony keeps you at arm's length sometimes. And I got to deal with that. But so you put in some things that people just like love, such and such loves that. There's a couple, they love each other and stuff like that. It's a given. You don't go into development or anything else, but I will throw something like that in, just so people recognize what real life is. I mean, this is how I deal with it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but you can't do everything in a play, especially a play, because you only got nowadays an hour and 15, 20 minutes. So how are you going to put abstract things in and then get people to care? It's difficult, but I don't think I speak for most writers. Just me. Just me.
Do the characters in your play all represent some facet of your personality?
I write by feel, personally. I write by feel. So I'm not planning things, which means it's mostly me. Maybe not my psyche, maybe not that, but moods and whim and whimsy and you look at. I've always said that what you try to do as an artist, any kind of artist, music, somebody listens to a piece of music, somebody sees a painting, whatever, or reads a book, and they know it's you. There's your mark there somehow.
That, for example, an example of that would be if you listen to Brahms, I think it's his 10th symphony. No, you listen to one of his symphonies. Fourth? People,
four.
You know about this. People say, that sounds an awful lot like Beethoven.
Oh, that's his first.
His first?
That's his first.
Oh,
yeah.
because he came after Beethoven. That's right. And you
His
could see the influence.
He did. He was the one that said, they said, oh, you stole that. Oh, no, I mean, they said, oh, you paraphrased Beethoven. And he said, no, an artist doesn't paraphrase, an artist steals. So I think it was an homage to Beethoven. Brahms happens to be one of my favorite composers. And
so you yourself can see the influences of Beethoven on the First Symphony.
Yeah, he took. You do, but it's different. But it's romantic. I mean, Brahms is special. He struggled with Beethoven. He didn't write his first symphony until he was older. His first piano concerto was supposed to be his first symphony. And he just kept and he just couldn't get it to be a symphony. It became his first piano concerto, which is like world famous. But it took him a hell of a long time to write his first symphony, and that was because he felt tiny to the Beethoven. For some reason, because then again he had that Clara Schumann thing going. Anyway, but yeah, it's a continuum. You shouldn't be afraid to look at Ulysses. Ulysses, to me, it's the greatest. I'm rereading it now because I spoke to you.
And I told you about Virginia Woolfe.
Why would I read Ulysses again if you told me to read?
Because she sent to the lighthouse to Joyce.
No, I don't remember you saying that. Did you say that?
Well,
but that's interesting.
And she said, would you give me your opinions on that? And he sent it back saying, I'm sorry, I don't do things like this. I'm not going to read it and give you any feedback on it. But then when Ulysses came out, all right, he sent her publishing company a copy.
Okay.
And said, would you like to be the one to publish it? And then, of course, you can read between the lines because nobody wants to do it, right? So her and her husband, they talked about it, and they said it's going to generate a lot of controversy, right? She said, well, let's read it, sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, she read it, and she said, I see a lot of similarities between this and To the Lighthouse.
Well, she was experimenting.
Between her book and With the Stream of Consciousness,
yeah,
and his book With the Stream of Consciousness.
Yeah.
Now, coincidence? Maybe.
Yeah, but and they did it in different ways, and I don't think Ulysses got stolen from anybody, and that's all original. That's all original. And if not, so what? so what? You can't write in the you can't be in a room and just write. You have to be with, and it's nice being with like-minded people, too. I don't think that.
I like your thing about you can't write in a vacuum. I like that. Listen to this line in my notebook, okay? It's about Beethoven. All right. When you are listening to Beethoven's music, you are listening to how he was affected by the personal, social, and ethical ideas of the era in which he lived.
Sure. Was he trying not to write about the...
It's a way of reminding people that in some respects, your ideas are not your own.
That's true.
Like there's this whole network around you that keeps feeding you with ideas and ideas and ideas that are constantly influencing you.
Well, music is building on what the last guy did. That's like, I think it's easy to see in music, easier anyway, than with literature. Because it's
well, I'm sure you have your influences, right?
Well,
like you said,
mentioned it.
Borges,
all that stuff. But Pollack, Jackson Pollack. I don't know that much about art history. I just saw the movie.
The one with Ed Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good. But he was trying to find a non-expression, non-representational way of painting.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his big thing. And then, that I don't know if that can be done all the time with all the art forms. People are always looking for the face,
The face?
A face. People
face.
looking. It's hard the way we're brought up.
Mm. We're very much brought up looking at it in terms of individuals rather than influences.
Or objects. What does this represent? Right away. Symbolism. What does it mean? All that stuff. And you look at a Pollack, and it's stuff. It's just there, and it's pleasing, and you can follow it, but it doesn't. It's not a building. It's not any. It's just. It's there, and it's not a pattern like the Arab, in the Arab world. Mm-hmm. They did all those patterns because I guess they couldn't do representational drawing, or maybe not. I think, but that's so ornate and beautiful. Pollack is that, only he invented his own. I don't know if there's anything like that in any other form of art form. Beats me. Mm. It beats me. Naked Lunch. Naked. I don't know what the hell Naked Lunch is, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yes.
Oh
yeah. William Burroughs.
I don't know. I got to read it again, I guess, but I don't know what the hell that is. Mm. and maybe there's more to it than I got out of it, but I can't. That's for we're looking for representational. It sometimes it will drive you to do that. I want to do something different, something that nobody ever did, in my own way, and this and that. And in the movie with Pollack, I mean, he evidently found it and drove him to drink, but he accomplished it. I mean, if anybody's seen a Jackson Pollock in person, not just in a little book,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa.
It had an effect on you emotionally.
Oh, the first time I saw one, I was here.
Mhm.
I saw the.
Mhm.
I was like, I just stared at it. It took my breath away. It was like nothing else that I've experienced.
Mhm.
I'm not even I paint, but I suck. I suck at painting, but
Do you paint representationally or abstractly?
I do it abstractly, but I put stuff in that looks like things.
Do you ever show your paintings to people? And
They're in my house,
and do they?
and sometimes I give them away as presents.
I mean, do people say it reminds me of so and so, and they give you an interpretation?
You know what? Claudia Torres came in my house once,
Yeah.
and she saw something I did, and she goes, that was good. That's not something I would see at class, art class." That made me feel good.
She didn't give you an interpretation, though. She didn't say that. It seems like a reaction you would have after getting a bad diagnosis from your doctor.
Well, my grandchildren seem to like the colors of different things that I do.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. But, the older I get,
You should tell people when you say the older you get, like what decade of your life are you in?
I'm 65.
65. You're in your
Yes, I got my Medicare card this year, and it was like a big deal.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have to suck up to anybody for that. I get that when I'm 65.
How many more decades do you have left in you?
60 more decades. No, I don't know. Whatever happens, I don't know. As long as I could ride a bike, walk. I don't know. Nobody wants to be sick and only think of their own health and stuff like that.
Only think of their own health? Oh, you mean that's going to
Bad
preoccupy
health.
them?
Yes.
Like every day, the main thing on their mind will be, how do I get through the day with this pain or this?
Yeah, or you get something new. Like a couple of years ago, I wake up with this black eye, and I would have freaked out. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Am I getting a stroke? What is it? It's like, because when you hit a certain age, when shit happens,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, and at one time that like, oh my God, this could be something. You're on the doctors, and then they do tests, and they give you stuff that screws you up, and then you realize that I'm old and stuff's happening. Oh my God, I got 4,000 floaters in my eyes. It's like, oh, am I going to go blind? No, you're just going to have floaters for the rest of your life. So you got to just live with it. These are the things that you just go with the flow. It's almost funny.
Yeah, you've developed a sense of acceptance.
Yeah, but it's hard to get there. It's not hard. I didn't have to try. It's just I got used to it. I just got used to it. You're my age. You're probably getting, doing that too.
Well, exactly what I'm thinking about as I'm talking to you is I'm comparing your internal state with my internal state. So, yeah.
You want to compare maladies? But no, it's funny when you get old. When you're younger, you hear old people talking about their health and stuff like that.
It's easier to just give a decade, like if you're in your 30s or 20s or...
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. Well, anyway, when you're not decrepit.
Yeah.
And you hear other people older than you, and then they go off in the corner and they start talking about the lumbago and the hip and that kind of stuff. And traditionally, we're made to think, oh, old people, that's all they ever talk about is health. Is like their health. It's so boring. I'm fascinated by it now. Just like, oh, this is interesting. It really is. Oh, and what did they do for you? And what did, you know?
So you like to hear about medical treatments?
Yeah, I mean, But some of the, you know, you got that, I tried that. I mean, not to get like nuts about it, but it's part of life. It's like, oh, you got that too. How did you deal with that? That's fun. That happened in the last couple years, I guess. It's like, but my friends with at my own age,
Yeah.
we do that. We're now doing that. And then my best friend said, yeah, look at us. You know, we are talking to old people, talking about health. And it's like, no, yeah, so what? So what? Doesn't make it boring. It's a different subject.
Now I have a question to ask you, a follow-up question to that. Wait, I just want to see how much longer we got. Pardon me.
You got a clock.
Yeah, well, I wasn't looking at it.